What's up, fellas? It's Juba 4. Today, I'm going to be telling the story of when I freaked out and lost my job, basically. So, this story takes place a couple months ago. Probably 4 or 5 months ago now. Not sure. But, at the time, I was working at a galvanizing plant. I don't know how to... I wanted, because I feel like it's pretty specific, so I didn't really want to drop that, but it's kind of hard to explain the story without that piece of information. So, working at a galvanizing plant, there's a lot of different stuff you can do. And I was the type of person that really liked to put myself out there and learn extra, like work extra hard, and I was kind of an overachiever in general when it comes to working, because I like to prove myself to like my supervisors and stuff. I don't know, I get a lot of pride out of that, you know. So I was just a general shop help, but I had some experience operating machinery and stuff just from like trade school I went to. Like it was just like a short little like month-long class, but I operated some excavators and skid steers and wheel loader and forklift, stuff like that. I got a bunch of certifications. Sorry, I hit my vape. Well, basically, I was still general shop help, but because I wanted to put myself forward so much, I had gotten to the point where I was operating a monorail crane. And I was operating this crane and lifting large metal material to be dipped in zinc. If anyone knows anything about the galvanizing process, that's basically where you dip steel into molten zinc. Well, there's a lot more to the process than that, but that's basically the most important part of it, is you're coating steel in zinc to make galvanized steel, right? And to do that, you have to have, a big old, there's a bunch of other stuff, like a bunch of acid and cleaners and stuff it goes through first, but basically a giant swimming pool full of molten metal, molten zinc. And you have a crane where you're picking up like light poles and other kind of like really large like metal things, a bunch of big metal stuff, and you're moving it with a crane and using the crane to dip it into the molten zinc, right? Because obviously you can't get next to it, or I mean, you have to get next to it, but you can't, dip it in there yourself, because one, the stuff you're dipping in there weighs 10,000 pounds, and also it's 830 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's pretty scary stuff. And this particular, I'm gonna have to give some more background, but before this, I had a pretty bad gambling problem, and I was making a lot of money at this job, but of course, my gambling problem outweighed the amount of money I was making. So I was pulling in like a little over $1,000 a week, but I was spending like $1,500 a week at the casino with my friends and whatnot, and not just gambling, but on alcohol and fast food and bullshit I didn't need. But basically, I got myself into a pretty terrible financial situation. I ended up, like the Cash App Borrow feature, I ended up about $2,000 in debt with the Cash App Borrow feature, just from gambling. And because of that, I was going to have to pick up some extra overtime to try to fix it, because I was like, okay, no more excuses, we need to get better with our money, like I'm not letting this happen anymore. And every once in a while they would have optional overtime you could sign up for. And once you signed up for it, you had to show up, or you would get a point for not showing up, So they had 2 upcoming overtime shifts. And okay, well, also at the time I was trying to get a lot of stuff right, not just my money. My money was the main thing, but I decided I wanted to quit. I quit vaping and smoking. I just wanted to quit nicotine as a whole. So I was going to quit nicotine, and I was going to get my money right. And I was telling myself, you really got to embrace the suck. This is going to suck, but you're going to have to work really hard, and you're going to have to put yourself through hell a little bit, and you're going to be off the nicotine. You know, you're not gonna have any addictions, and you're gonna fucking have a bunch of money, and you're gonna have your money right, and it's gonna be great. You know, you're not gonna let this stupid shit get in the way anymore. So they had 2 upcoming, and this is like the day before I signed up for this is when I stopped. I quit nicotine cold turkey entirely. Before that, I was smoking like half a pack of cigarettes a day. But so I quit cold turkey, and then on that day, they have 2 upcoming overtime shifts you can sign up for. It was Friday night and Saturday morning. I don't know who in the right mind would sign up for both, but I decided I need this extra money to get rid of my debt and fix all of this. So I signed up for Friday night and Saturday morning, and it was like night shift was like ended at like 2 a.m. and day shift started at like 5 a.m. So I wouldn't have had time to sleep. So I signed up, and that was for like the week after. It wasn't for like, the upcoming weekend or anything. So I had time to prepare. I should have at least. But so I signed up for these, and the day before, the Thursday, I didn't sleep. The night after I got off Thursday, I couldn't sleep for whatever reason. So I didn't sleep at all. I stayed up all night and all day until it was time to go to my shift at like 3:30 p.m. or whatever. So I go in, I go in for my overtime shift, after not sleeping Thursday night. I'm starting to feel the withdrawal symptoms from the nicotine. I'm starting to get really like irritable and emotional and stuff like that. But I was still like, I'm going to power through this weekend. I got to. And so I hadn't slept at all, not a wink, the night after my shift on Thursday. And then I have to go to my night shift on Friday, which of course is followed by the Saturday morning shift. So I'm not going to have time to sleep. I'm going to have to be up for 2 days or damn near 3 days straight. Then I have no choice. And that's what I'm telling myself is you have to embrace the suck right now. While withdrawing off of nicotine, and having untreated mental illness, because I didn't know how bad it was at the time yet. Now I'm on medication and stuff, but at the time I had no clue how mentally ill I was. Whatever. Had to hit my vape. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Obviously that didn't work out, if you can tell by me hitting my vape right now. But so I go into my Friday night shift. Hadn't slept a wink, and I am getting really, really, and I'm operating a crane, right? I'm operating this crane, and when you're operating a crane that's lifting 10,000 pounds of metal into a giant swimming pool full of molten metal, you have everyone's life in your hands. I mean, if you do something wrong, you could mess something up, you could drop that on somebody, you could break shit, you can do a lot of damage, you can fucking kill people pretty easily, And I'm there on my Friday night shift, and I already was so tired. I was like nodding off. Like it was so bad, I was damn near falling asleep while standing up, and I'm operating this crane, and I start to feel like, dude, this is a safety hazard. Like, I want to finish my shift. I wish I could. But genuinely, this is, like, actually so bad. Like, I'm nodding off right now, and I'm getting increasingly more emotional. And literally, I was freaking the fuck out. Like, I was like, actually, like about to start, like, sobbing right there. And it's not an environment where you can do that. It's a lot of very, like, tough, fucking conservative guys. And I was already a little fruity for them, for their taste. But so it's fucking Friday night, I'm nodding the fuck off while I'm operating this crane. And it gets to a point where I'm like literally falling asleep. And I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I can't power through this. I genuinely have to go home. I have to. Maybe I'll be able to make it to the Saturday shift still if I go to sleep now. Like, it'll be okay. Because it's only a few hours into my shift, so I would have had time. I would have had time to go to sleep. So I go up to the supervisor, and I'm like, hey man, I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to be a bitch or anything, but seriously, this is unsafe. Like, I'm over here nodding off. I know it's my fault. I should have gone to sleep. But, yeah, I really can't do this. And he looks at me like I'm fucking stupid. And he's like, okay, then fucking pick up a file and go help the finishers. Why are you operating a crane then? And I'm like, oh, okay, my bad. So I fucking, and I was hoping I would get sent home because I was getting so emotional and I was so exhausted that I couldn't stand being there. Like, I was literally like freaking out. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to help the finishers. So I go over and I start helping them, and I'm just getting more and more tired and more irritable. And I'm literally, it gets to a point, I'm sitting there like filing down this metal and just sobbing to myself underneath my like hard hat. Like, there's like the face shield that comes down. I just have the face shield down. I'm over there just sobbing while I'm doing jack shit. Like, I'm like not even getting the job done. I'm just sitting there like filing this metal like I'm fucking pretending to do shit because I could not get myself to do anything. And I'm fucking sobbing. And eventually it gets to the point where they're like, okay, it's 10-minute break time. We had like 2 10-minute breaks and a 30-minute break and it was a 10-hour shift. And I'm literally sobbing, and I'm trying to like walk to my car, and everybody's walking to their car, and everybody like staring at me weird. And I go to not the supervisor, because the supervisor was an asshole. I go to my crew lead, who is a lot cooler of a guy, who I was a lot cooler with. And I'm literally like, dude, and he sees me fucking sobbing, and there's nothing I can do about it. And I'm like, dude, I have to go home right now. Like, I can't finish this shift. I'm so sorry. I really can't do it. And he's like, man, go home right now. Like, go home right now. Like, I'll vouch for you. It'll be okay. Just go home. And I'm like, thank you so much. Like, that's all. Like, you're awesome. I give him a hug and like whatever. And then I go sit in my car because I felt like I was so tired I couldn't drive home safely. Like, I did not feel comfortable driving home. So I go get in my car and I call my sister and I'm like, can you please come pick me up from work? And she's like, yeah, of course, bub. Like, you know, so she's heading on her way immediately, drops everything because she loves me and shit, and she's a good sister. Drops everything she's doing and just fucking starts driving to me as quickly as she can. And I'm laying down in my car, like, I fall asleep for a minute, and then I like wake up to her calling me. And no, that's not what happened. Because I was trying to fall asleep, and I remember seeing dudes like looking into my car, like, I think I must have fallen asleep for a little bit. I don't know. But I remember just laying there and seeing dudes like looking into my car, like, what the fuck is this dude doing? Like, the brake's over. Like, and then they were like laughing about it a little bit as they went back in. And then eventually she gets there and I get out of my car and I go over to her and just get in. And I just break down into tears and I'm like explaining basically what I just explained to you guys. And I go home. And she takes me home after I'm like, you know, just breaking down on the way. And I get home and now it's like, you know, it's pretty late. And I'm like, okay, I really need to get some sleep because I still need to make it to that morning shift in like a couple hours. I need to make it to that morning shift the next day that I signed up for. You know, I can't miss that either. And I was already like at the breaking point where it comes to points. Like, I was like 1 or 2 points away from getting fired already because I had been late a couple times, and I like, it just shit like that, you know, just whatever, just being late here and there. But I had worked there for a long time, so it added up, and I hadn't worked there long enough for my points to fall off. So I was getting close, you know. I'd already gotten a warning for my points, but other than that, I was a really good employee, and they liked me, and they thought I was a good worker. But basically, I was close to getting fired already. Not for anything like my quality of work, genuinely just attendance, but. So, I fucking left in the middle of the shift. I come home. I get home, and I can't fall asleep for shit. I genuinely cannot fall asleep. Like, at all. So, I fucking stay up all night. And, it comes time to go to my shift. It comes time to go back to work. Fucking gotta be there at 5, you know. And my sister's like, are you going in? Like, you know, you need to do that. And I just break down in tears again. I'm like, I can't. I fucking can't do it. Like, I genuinely can't do it. So I call in and I don't even remember. I don't remember if I made an excuse or I genuinely said, like, the thing about sleep. I don't remember what I said, but I called in and basically said I wasn't going to make it. And, so I didn't. So I go back the following Monday, and I forgot to mention, On Sunday, after that, I decided to dye my hair purple and pink, split dyed down the middle. And like I said, they already had enough of my fruitiness. They already thought I was too fruity, like I already got side-eyed for that. So nobody really took too kindly to me leaving like that and then coming back on Monday with half pink, half purple hair. They were not fond of that one bit. So, my supervisor comes up to me and he's like, what the fuck happened? And I was like, I'm literally stupid as fuck, so I don't know why I thought he was asking about my hair, but I was like, oh, I dyed my hair. Oh, I dyed my hair, dude. I dyed my hair. Like that's what happened. That's why it's purple and pink. He's like, no, like Friday, and I was like, oh, my bad. Like honestly, I was like nodding off and whatnot. Like I really couldn't, like I couldn't finish the shift. Like it was really bad. Like you can ask my my crew lead. Like you can ask him. Like it really didn't. I was not doing well at all. And he was like, okay, whatever. So I go about my shift like normal. Everybody's giving me fucking side eyes, and this one guy who I work with is like, why? I was like, why what? He's like, why the fuck did you dye your hair pink and purple? I was like, dude, you only live once. And he was like, fucking whatever, dude. Like he was like pissed off. Sorry, I did my vape. He was pissed the fuck off. And I go at my shift like normal, basically, other than just people being pissy about me all day. And we're in line to clock out at the end of the shift, and that same guy who was like, why, is talking shit about me to the person next to him while he's literally like 10 feet away from me. Like I'm right there. Like he literally keeps looking at me. Like it's not like he's not trying to hide it. Like he wants me to hear it. And he's like, yeah, that fucking guy fell asleep in his car and then committed job abandonment. And I was like, okay, I didn't even say anything. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, whatever. I just looked at him like, okay, whatever. And so at that point, tension is growing a lot. And I was getting really uncomfortable. And I was like, okay, I might have put myself in this situation, but genuinely, I do not feel comfortable here. Like these people, everybody fucking hates me now. And maybe I guess it's my fault, but like genuinely, this is terrible. Like this is I'm a good worker and I like this job, but I can't do it if everybody's looking at me like I'm stupid and everybody thinks I'm a faggot and everybody's like genuinely mad at me. Like genuinely, like nobody wants to talk to me anymore, and I somehow, because of the mixture of fucking up and leaving and coming back with pink and purple hair, that made everyone fucking hate me. Like there was nobody that was on my side anymore. Anybody that was cool with me before either wouldn't say a word to me or would actively be like, why the fuck did you do that? Like you're weird. Or like they'd be like, oh, pink and purple, oh, like at the most, it's like some straight up bullshit. So at that point I decided, fuck this. I really don't want to work here anymore. I'm uncomfortable as hell. Like this shit is not fun anymore at all. This shit sucks ass. I mean, it was already physically intensive, but I could do that if I had a good vibe. But at this point I was, going through nicotine withdrawals, so I was genuinely still very emotional, and having everybody hate on me like that was like making it so much worse after I already had basically a fucking, I don't know if I could say a panic attack, but I had a very bad moment at work, So I was already like in a bad mental state over that. And then the no nicotine and then everybody hating on me, it was just terrible. So the next day I just called in, and the day after that I called in again, and the day after that I called in again. And then fucking I got an email basically saying, like, asking like, hey, are you coming back? Like, what the hell? Are you coming back? Like, or are you done? Like, and I just didn't respond to it. And eventually I got terminated. But yeah, I handled that pretty terribly, but I don't know how to describe my mental state at the time, but if you were in my head, it would have made a lot more sense. That shit was, like, genuinely, like, atrocious. Moral of the story, if you're gonna lock in, pick one thing at a time. Don't force yourself into, some shitty situation because you put yourself into a shitty situation. just be responsible and either don't put yourself in a fucked up financial situation in the first place, or, you know, get yourself addicted to nicotine in the first place, or pick one at a time. Fix the financial situation, then quit nicotine, or whatever, you know? You can't do it all at once. You can't take on the world. You can't lift the entire world on your shoulders. You need to, like, pick a struggle. Like, literally, like, people say that all the time, but pick a struggle. You can't do it all at once. You seriously can't. Like, you'll just get burnt out and end up fucking your life up even more. That's exactly what happened. Because then I found myself with no job, with bills to pay, and this massive debt that I wasn't able to fix because, you know, I didn't get the overtime that I needed. And then, you know, the checks ceased to come in after that because I didn't have a fucking job. So, and that's where I find myself today. Just delivering fucking food for Uber Eats while I wait to get a new job, you know, and I barely can pay my bills. I'm in massive debt from fucking gambling and shit. So, yep, that's the end of that. Peace out, fellas. Thank you for listening to my bitching.